right, so we've got the Coffee Craft Daily Service with the tree map, and tree maps looked pretty good. There were a couple of issues that several people had. One of them being making this area a table. Now, this one that I'm looking at right now, this is a table. The way I can tell it's a table is if I click here, I have my Table Tools Design tab up here. Also, we have these little filter buttons, but we can also get those by using filtering here, sort and filter. The cool thing about the table, a couple cool things. One is once we have the table in, we can go ahead and just click total row as this person did here, and it automatically puts a total row in. If you don't have a total, you can click and you can tell it what you want to happen in each of those little sections. The other thing is when we put a table in, it allows us to use those database functions that we've been talking about in this chapter. So over here in this area, you put formulas in, different formulas in each of these cells. Some people just put the numbers in that were supposed to result from the formula, and I'd ask that you don't do that. I would rather see a formula that's giving an error or a formula that has something wrong with it than just a number in a cell. That just tells me that you put a number in a cell and I don't know where things were going wrong. So let's go ahead and make the formula that goes in here. It's a D average, so D for database. I'm going to do my equal sign and then D, and then here's D average right here. So I'm going to click on that because I always like help in creating my databases. Now we should have made this table over here. We should have named it with our name ranges, but I know the cells are A8 through I22. So I'm going to put that in, and then you'll notice my little formula right here. I need a comma after my database, so comma. And then the field we're looking for is satisfaction survey, and I'm going to type that in quotes, and then another close quotes and a comma. And then the criteria is right here. We want to get information about coffee shop. So I'll do that, close parentheses, and it gives me 8.75, which is what should be in this cell. Now here we want to do the same thing, and we could retype that. We can also, I think it might be a shortcut. If I copy it down, we get an error, but that's just because we need to change our numbers up here. So A8 through I22. We still want satisfaction survey, but we don't want it to be for coffee shop anymore. We want the customer type to be QSR. And so that gives us 9. Okay. And then for the gold standing, we want to find out how many post-service ratings we have that are gold. And so that, I think it's a COUNTIF formula. We could use a COUNTIF formula, but since we're using a database, it's a DCount formula. So DCount, there's our same area there, that table, satisfaction survey, and here is our criteria here. Q2, we want to pull the gold, so it's going to count all the golds for us, and it got a 0, but it should have gotten a 7. So if I look over here, I see that the alignment isn't all the same here, and so I'm going to mess around with a couple things, and I'll be right back. Well, I can't tell you exactly why that is going wrong there, but I know I have the correct formula in. Sometimes with databases, you will notice that you'll put the correct formula in exactly correct, and you'll get an error or something odd. But put the formula in. If this were to happen in real life, then you would maybe go and look at a COUNTIF formula rather than a DCount for database if it's giving you issues. But it's good to know that it's an option. In Q8, we're going to add up anything in this column that is restaurant or hotel. If it's restaurant or hotel in this column, we're going to add up what the customer bill is in this column, and that should be right here, 450. So I'll pause again so you can see sum if C9 through C22 is where we're looking for the restaurant hotel, and then we're adding I9 through I22 if those two criteria match. And then count of QSR customers. We're counting if anything in this column equals QSR. So that's that one. And then in this cell, we're putting this formula in. I like to click up here to see what it's pulling. So that means if we put a customer ID in here, it's going to tell us what the time billed is. So let's pick a customer ID over here. anyone. I'm going to copy this one. Okay, and so if I put that in here, then it's telling us that there was 1 hour build. Which we can see right here. So those are the formulas that you want there. And if you've got other questions, then shoot me an email or something. But I want to see the formulas actually here. If you get an error, fine. If the formula doesn't give the desired result, that's fine. Stick the formulas in there and let's see what happens.